Welcome to Table by Teresa. Let's take a look at Elevenses. Elevenses is a game about socialites competing to create the best spread for morning tea. It retails for $15. The player who gets 5 sugar cubes first wins. Sugar. I'm mildly intrigued. You get a sugar cube for each round you win and for playing a tea trolley to your spread. Spread. Yes, like a meal on a table. Each player has a deck of 11 cards. Because it's Elevenses. Yes, she'll shuffle them and deal 8 cards face down in front of her. The remaining 3 cards will make up her kitchen. That doesn't look like a kitchen. Well, it is. Each card has 3 traits that are useful in the game. The number of spoons, which determine how many points the card will give you. You're collecting spoons. Yes, you are. It also tells you what the card does and the place it belongs in the spread. Each player gets a reference card that explains what all the cards do. That's helpful and all, but the side they'll use most, if they have a bit of trouble counting like I do, surprise, is the layout of the spread. Players can do one of 2 things on a turn. They can play a card from their kitchen face up to the spread. Now the player does the action on the card. In this case, she can look at all the cards in her spread, so she knows which are where. Instead of playing a card, a player can take up to 2 arrange actions. The player can play any card from her kitchen to any space in the spread face down. There are 3 special cards in the game. The tea trolley gives the player a sugar cube at the end of the round, and other players can't turn it over. Players can turn over your cards. Sometimes. How dreadful. The tea trolley is placed to the left of the spread, so you don't get to pick up a card when you play it. The servants are played to the right of the second row, so you don't get to pick up a card when you play it either. But the servants are worth 3 spoons, more than any other card in the game. Servants are quite useful. Of course, they also make you show your kitchen to other players, so you might want to hold off on playing them. The final card a player will play is the Elevenses card. It ends the round, but it can only be played by a player with at least 4 face-up cards in her spread. You can't end a round if you don't have the Elevenses card in your kitchen, but unlike other cards, the Elevenses card can't be passed to other players or swapped. Other players can take your cards. Only sometimes. More and more maddening. All of these cards allow players to pass cards to the left or right and to swap cards with other players, sometimes against their will. Then how do you know which cards are whose? Good question. Each player has a different colored back, so by the end of a round, your spread and your kitchen can be multicolored. At the end of the round, the player in first place gets 2 sugar cubes, the player in second place gets 1, and anyone who played a tea trolley gets 1. The first player to 5 wins. This doesn't seem very tea-like. You're right. So, there's lots to love in this little box. Elevenses is really pretty. The art pulls me in. It's beautiful without being too flowery, and it's really nice to have a game with a different aesthetic than, say, yeah, I went there. The game is an interesting memory puzzle. Unless you have a 4 card in your spread, you'll need to remember what you did with your cards, especially your Elevenses card. If, for example, I think my Elevenses is in the 3 position, I might play this card only to discover something useless. In the process, I may have set up an opponent to win, making me feel like this guy. Why do people still play that game? I don't know. But Elevenses is no Monopoly. That's because the cards are well balanced. Cards with 1 spoon allow you to do powerful things. Cards with 2 spoons give you more points, but they put you at risk of having to pass cards or have them taken from you. There's a lot of push-pull in the game. You can turn over other people's cards and steal from their kitchens, but they can do the same to you. Deciding when to ring the bell and call Elevenses can be tricky. You might want to do it even if you won't win the round to keep another player from getting a precious sugar cube. The cards have good descriptions, making this game easy to teach, even to young players. Of course, you might not like the game. Of course, no game can be for everyone. If you're expecting a game that feels like you're serving tea, this won't be it. The art is beautiful and the game is fun, but this is a game about moving cards. There is a small expansion that comes in the box, but don't expect it to add too much to gameplay. At the beginning of each round, players draw a special guest that they want to attract to their tea party by having the right items face up in their spread. There's nothing wrong with the concept, but achieving the goal is only worth 2 spoons, the same as any card in the bottom row. You can work half the game to get the right cards while your opponents are blazing past you. And since there are only 6 characters, it's very possible to get the same goal more than once in the same game. This is a small gripe in such a beautiful game, but the card backs play tricks on my eyes. They're a little painful to look at. You will not be playing solitaire. You will have to interact with and anger your opponents. You can play Elevenses with 2 people, and it's good enough, but add another player or two, and it's much, much better. What do I think? Because everyone wants to know. I love this game. It's pretty, it's fun, and it's great for families or groups of adults. Not to mention, it's only $15. But what really sets Elevenses apart is a subtle charm. From the small square box to the funny rules writing, Elevenses is a game I'll keep coming back to. I hope you'll try it. If you'd like to check out other people's reviews of Elevenses, come visit Table by Teresa. You can also find other reviews and my thoughts about the world of tabletop games. Just a warning, I got a review copy of Elevenses from Grail Games. I wasn't required to give a positive review, and I wouldn't take a game if I was. I'm not sure I believe you. You don't have to, but I'd just say no. And here's all the stuff you don't really need to know. Thanks for watching.